Hello, it's Massleaf here, and you probably guessed it's another Kane Draft video commentary. And who have we got today? We have HiDrauLick playing as the orange Marked of Kane, and Unleashed UA playing as the red ZCM. So let's get straight into this game here. We're on 1.02 plus, so we're not in the official version. So MOK obviously a much more viable faction in this particular patch, as well as ZCM. Unleashed is the ZCM player here, while HiDrauLick is in the south playing as the MOK. Going for that hand and nod, probably going to draft some infantry squads as well as making engineers. It looks like Unleashed is going to play his own standard game and build engineers. But the question is, how many engineers will he go for? He's drafting rifleman squads. He's got a total of 2 free squads. This rifleman squad will be guaranteed to reach this structure here before the MOK players saboteur, but it doesn't look like HiDrauLick is going to be escorting his engineers with anything. He does have Shadow Team, so I was completely wrong there. Shadow Team opening for HiDrauLick. He will be able to intercept Unleashed engineers. I think Unleashed only made 1 engineer, so he wasn't planning on taking any major risk. And it looks like Unleashed is aware of the Shadow Team opening because he garrisoned his engineer within that structure, and it looks like HiDrauLick is just going to bomb that structure there. But it's going to take a while for him to de-garrison that structure. The Shadow Teams in the meanwhile could go and bomb a power plant, but he's just going to hold Unleashed engineer here in place and just lock him down for as long as possible. Where is the engineer of HiDrauLick? Did he get his engineer sniped? Oh no, that was terrible. That was terrible of HiDrauLick. How on earth did he get his engineer sniped there? It must have been this structure with a rifleman squad. It's the only thing I can think of. And HiDrauLick, you have to micro your Shadow Teams here. That isn't good. But he did take out the engineer. He's going to lose this squad though. Pitbull revealing the Shadow Team. He barely managed to save that Shadow Team, which does find its way into this structure here. And it looks like Unleashed is going to be building APCs. How's his economy doing? He's only got 1 harvester. HiDrauLick, on the other hand, he has a single harvester as well, so both players even at the moment. There is only 2 Shadow Teams, so both the Shadow Teams did manage to make refuge inside of that structure. Of course, if I turn the health bars on, you can see that both of the Shadow Teams are like on their last legs, really. Just 2 members remaining. And that structure will get cleaned out very soon, as well as the Shadow Teams. So those Shadow Teams failing to accomplish much at all, really, for HiDrauLick, except for kill Unleashed engineer, but I don't think that justifies the shrine opening. But having said that, Unleashed, he did make a couple APCs, and APCs aren't exactly useful at harassing harvesters, but oh no, wait, they are garrisoned with rocket squads, and the rocket squads will do quite a bit of damage to these scorpions. Of course, this is forcing HiDrauLick to build a counter to those APCs. Unleashed, on the other hand, is probably training harvesters since he has the units out already on the field. Now he'll be just getting economy. HiDrauLick, on the other hand, has to respond with units, so it'll be a while before he can eco boom. The spike will get taken out by Unleashed. Questionable decision of his. He could have gone for the harvesters and forced HiDrauLick to maybe overspend and build even more scorpion tanks, because with that many APCs you can probably overwhelm the scorpion tanks. The scorpion tanks are alright, but APCs with rockets in them are quite powerful. Don't underestimate those. And of course, if your APC is low on health, you can evacuate the rocket squads and have them still useful in that particular engagement. But the AMCV for Unleashed is going to be packing up. It's going to be moving towards his natural base. Doesn't look like it. He's going for some crazy unorthodox play. Unleashed, obviously known for that. Going for this field here, I can only imagine. And that will prevent HiDrauLick from expanding to his secondary expansion. He's going to have to move towards this field in the future, assuming that he survives that long, of course. It could be over before it starts, really. And the APCs are trying to catch up with these Scorps, but the Scorps are too fast for them, I think. Not entirely certain. I think they are indeed faster, but that Scorpion tank has gone down to its heavy damage mode and unfortunately did get taken out there. Those Scorp tanks will be forced to make a retreat. Unleashed, he has got 3 harvesters, not building any harvesters. That's really surprising. On the other hand, HiDrauLick has got 4 harvesters, so he is ahead, surprisingly enough, with harvesters. Unleashed, though, he's really planning to go heavy on the aggression. He's going for pitbull spam, and pitbull spam can be pretty good against scorpion tanks as long as you can overwhelm them. They're good at sniping off individual tanks. I mean, especially the ones that are wandering off away from the main group. They're good at that purpose. But yeah, HiDrauLick, he's got his refinery up here. Probably got another one queued, I can only imagine. No, that's going to be a power plant. Unleashed, he's got this refinery here. I really want him to see, I want to see him build more harvesters. He's only got 4 harvesters here. He needs to get another one for that 5 and 2. HiDrauLick, on the other hand, he's not in any rush to attack Unleashed because he probably knows that Unleashed is really overcommitting on these light harassment units, which don't really fare well against mass scorpion tanks as far as I know. And HiDrauLick will be able to defend these no problem whatsoever. As long as he maneuvers his forces around, he has to go and defend these harvesters here. And it's surprising how Unleashed is not building Predator tanks. I mean, remember, the Predator tanks are not bugged in this patch. You can build Predator tanks and it'll be totally fine. They don't suffer from the experience bug. And something I forgot to mention last time when I done the 1.02 plus videos, you can actually play the maps on 1.02. That was probably one of the key features of the patch, of the map pack itself, is that you don't have to change between versions to play it. So yeah, very convenient indeed. But there are some APCs chilling in the middle. Unleashed, he's got a refinery set up here, going for the infantry spam. He is not going for eco this game. And HiDrauLick, he's just being contained in his base. There's this couple rocket squads garrisoned within these structures. Pitbulls flanking their way, probably going to snipe some harvesters here. I don't think HiDrauLick is aware of that. There is quite a few scorpion tanks here. He could go straight into Unleashed base, and composite armor will do nothing, especially as scorpion tanks have the ability to crush infantry. Regardless of their hit points of the rocket squads, they will get just annihilated. And so many tanks being destroyed here, but the cloaking field, ooh, that's gotta hurt. Using the cloaking field on those infantry, being able to kill them, but at the same time, Unleashed is going to follow this up with some pitbull aggression. He's going to get harvested there, but the thing is, can he hold his expansion? There is just a couple of towers, just one tower in fact. It looks like most of the scorpion tanks are cleaned up somehow. I'm not entirely sure how that worked out for him. And of course, AP ammo towers is not going to be enough to defend off against these scorpion tanks. The harvester trying to micro his harvester around. A couple of predator tanks here to defend, and that will be enough to scare HiDrauLick's forces away from this expansion. And surprisingly, Unleashed is able to defend that expansion there. Unleashed, what have you got now? You've only got one refinery. Where on earth is your harvesters? Okay, your harvesters are being transferred now. Slightly late. And this harvester is in great peril. It's going to get destroyed. And that's going to be a big problem for Unleashed, because HiDrauLick is now ecoing hard. And you really don't want to be behind as ZCM against MOK. Of course, because MOK are pretty good against ZCM. I mean, that was one of the sole reasons why Vody quit the game. It's because MOK was just too powerful for them. The lack of artillery and a main battle tank in 1.02 made them extremely weak in comparison to the Nod factions. But yeah, the more Scorpion tanks, it looks like Dozer Blades is finished as well, will give these Scorpion tanks additional armor and the ability to crush mines, so APCs no longer will be that useful. But yeah, Unleashed doing a good job in holding this assault. He could have made a better push there and maybe destroyed a few harvesters, but the rocket squads are in great force now. And HiDrauLick, though, he has to make a push with his MCV, I think. Maybe build a secondary MCV and get the charged particle beam upgrade and mass shredder turrets. That wouldn't be a bad choice. But oh no, the one clicks for HiDrauLick, and that has got to hurt Unleashed. Unleashed looking really dire. Now he's only got one refinery and 4 harvesters. He's gonna have to replace that ref as soon as possible. And avatars out for HiDrauLick. Of course, the avatars in 1.02, if you equip them with attack bikes, the MOK avatars don't actually work when you try to equip them with attack bikes. It's only the nod ones for some reason. But in this patch it addresses that issue. It's not as though the avatars have great stealth detection range anyways. I mean, it's like a watchtower. It's hardly worth upgrading them with bikes whatsoever. Flame tanks wouldn't be a bad idea, but of course MOK do not have access to flame tanks, so it's just going to be the regular avatars for the MOK. And Tib Trooper is going to be the anti-infantry unit of choice for HiDrauLick. He desperately needs to get that upgrade to make them remotely useful. Only with the cybernetic legs they can deal colossal damage to infantry. And as it turns out, they're actually pretty good against Traveller 59 disintegrators. These Tib Troopers, they are faster indeed. And if he garrisons these Tib Troopers inside the foxhole, he could probably get a range buff and be able to shoot the rocket squads from over here. I'm not entirely sure if the bunkers confer that ability, but we'll soon see. Harvester being slowed down by the Tib Troopers, and that was able to slow it down so the avatars could snipe it down. Tib Troopers, the upgrade is done, and this is terrible news for Unleashed. If HiDrauLick snipes all those riflemen down, then these Tib Troopers are going to have a field day and destroy all of the infantry. All the rocket squads are likely going to go down. But, oh no, he's not targeting very well there, unfortunately. Where the avatars are forced to retreat. He's got 5 avatars. The MCV should be packed up and on its way towards the green field. HiDrauLick, what are you doing, HiDrauLick? You have to expand immediately, unless you have an emissary. An emissary, alright, that's kind of unorthodox expansion, but I guess he's intent on keeping his construction yard there, probably for a reason. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe he is afraid of not having a radar up. Of course, that's a big concern of mine if I'm playing in the late game. I don't want to be having no radar. Goodness sake, I can lose games thanks to that. But yeah, these Tib Troopers, they also have some Tiberium resistance, I do believe. Yeah, it provides immunity to Tiberium exposure damage, and the Tib Troopers inflict that kind of damage, so they'll be much more resistant to the Tiberium Troopers than the, let's say, the composite armor infantry from GDI. So that upgrade coming immensely useful now for Unleashed. And Unleashed, he's got a lot of Tib here. He's probably going to transition into aircraft, and so he is. He's going for hammerheads. I can only imagine he wouldn't be going for the Zorkas. Zorkas pretty useless, especially in 1.02. I'm not sure if they've received any buffs or any changes in 1.02 plus. I know it's a balance change. Not a balance change, a bug fix patch, but some balance changes have been implemented into the version. And the Scorpion tank is not going to do much at all, especially as there are hammerheads out for Unleashed, and the APM upgrade is done. That's going to be the upgrade, the transition of choice for Unleashed. The refinery is down for HiDrauLick, and he needs to transfer all of his harvesters over there immediately. He needs to get Tib Core as well. That should be a top priority, especially against Zocom. If you're playing against Zocom, general rule of thumb is to get your anti-aircraft upgrade as soon as possible, because their hammerheads can be so deadly and hard to kill. Very, very brutal them if they're in large force and you don't see them coming. But the avatars, I'm not sure why they're pushing. This isn't good, because the hammerheads are out for HiDrauLick, but not HiDrauLick, Unleashed, but maybe Unleashed. HiDrauLick is not afraid of those, and he's just going to push regardless. As I said, he could have probably spammed an MCV, maybe built an additional MCV and spammed base defenses here, because that's really the weakness of Zocom. Having no artillery, they would have to engage directly in order to take out the base defenses, but sniping down a hammerhead there with a stealth tank. The stealth tank not receiving the Tib Core upgrade, which is unfortunate. And the ref is bringing in a lot of Tiberium for HiDrauLick. The avatars, they need more anti-aircraft support here in order to make a push. And he needs to retreat from those rocket squads. Unleashed, what are you going for now? Where is your MCV? MCV has found its way all the way to his safe expansion field. He needs to get some economy up there. He needs to start massing hammerheads, which he's done. Maybe train some additional hammerheads just so you can get some map control here. And yeah, what an unusual game thus far. Was not expecting this. And all sniping down, additional hammerhead there, that's got to hurt. The stealth tank's obviously quite a big pain for Unleashed. He has to be extremely careful when engaging with these hammerheads. I guess he has no choice but to stay put at his war factory while he gets some pit walls out to detect these stealth tanks so he can snipe them down with the hammerheads. Will he be able to get both the stealth tanks? Both the stealth tanks may get destroyed here. He's chasing the stealth tank, not sure how it's being revealed. He must have had it on aggressive stance, that stealth tank, because they do get revealed if they're on a specific stance. And those rockets, not rockets, the tip troopers being sniped down by the hammerheads here. They can have a field day on these avatars, but the additional stealth tank does come out and he will be able to snipe additional hammerhead there. Stealth tanks, no tip core rockets. I would love to see that being upgraded, but HiDrauLick not going for the upgrade. And this will force pit walls by Unleashed. What he could do is make a single Orca and just drop a sensor pod here. In this specific patch, the sensor pods do not have a delay when you place them, so that kind of makes them kind of OP against Nod factions. It definitely should be the upgrade of choice against Nod. It's definitely an underused ability. It's really the best method you can have as GDI for detecting stealth units. Pit bulls just they can't really cut it in the late game. They're too light armored and they just don't stand up against anything. But yeah, the stealth tanks are causing a lot of mischief for Unleashed. He does have a ref up here. These harvesters are quite vulnerable to stealth tanks, but it doesn't look like Unleashed is too concerned about that whatsoever. He's more interested in defending this front here. More tib troopers and more tib troopers. The tib core rockets not done yet. Unleashed, will you be able to hold this off? I'm not entirely certain. These avatars, I reckon they could just push into this base here. There's no sonic emitters. It's just 2 or 3 hammerheads for that are posing a threat to him. But the Redeemer is out. I did hear it, and it's already made its way up here, so crikey, that's quite insane. Unleashed definitely has to respond to this with his Marv. He needs that Marv immediately. And the Redeemer does get a cloaking field on it, so it's now a stealth Redeemer. Oh no, that's going to be additional problems for Unleashed. He uses the radar scan once again, and these units will start to attack each other because they're affected by the rage generator, and all cleaning up all of those vehicles. This is going to be bad for Unleashed. I don't think Unleashed is going to save this expansion here. Unleashed realizing that now and is selling off desperately, trying to get as much money and cash as possible to set up a shop at this field here. He needs to go for another ref or possibly a barracks, get some zone raiders up before this tech lab goes down. Remember, the Redeemer does not have a flamethrower inside of it. It's that pitiful tib trooper garrison, which does nothing. Apparently it does less damage than the tib trooper squad itself, which is pathetic. In this specific patch, I'm not sure if the Redeemer can shoot and move with the tib trooper garrison. I think it was one of the changes that CGF proposed in the next version, though. It would be nice to see that being implemented. But the tib situation for HiDrauLick is really, really bad. I mean, he has to make something happen with these units. Unleashed, though, he does have a ton of tib here. He's got a big economy as well. He needs to get some something with a lot of firepower in that Marv. Maybe rocket squads, not engineers, and maybe some hammerheads, since he does have both the upgrades for the hammerheads that would come immensely useful against the avatars and the Redeemer. He's not gonna ever stand a chance if he went for the infantry or the vehicles. He's gonna have to rely on aircraft, I reckon. And he should be building the command post. The command post, come on, Unleashed, place it immediately. Oh, it's going to be a barracks, so he's going to go for a barracks here. I wonder if he has the EMP grenades. That upgrade would definitely come in handy in the Marv. It's not going to bother to attack to defend this base here. I'm not sure if this is a good idea by Unleashed. Unleashed realizing that now, he has to go back and immediately defend off against this here. The MCV is under immense danger. He's going to probably lose this MCV. Of course, the tib troopers are pathetic. Pathetic against not vehicle structures. But the Stealth Redeemer, it is stealth mine, so it's going to be such a pain for Unleashed to bring that thing down, because once it becomes low on health, he can just put it on hold fire stance and then evacuate. But the Marv is coming in. This is a terrible idea by Unleashed, because there are now 4 avatars and a Redeemer that could take this Marv out. There is an even EMP equipped unit such as the Enlightened. He could use those now and disable this Marv. And this construction yard is going to get destroyed. And the Marv is disabled, so this is going to be it for Unleashed. I don't see Unleashed holding this assault off whatsoever. The Marv is under attack, receiving some hits from the rear armor. That has got to hurt. And this, once his MCV goes down, what is he going to do? What the hell is he going to do? He's putting the hand at the barracks there, obviously to train an engineer so he can insta-heal that construction yard. I'm not sure if he has to unpack that MCV and then pack it up again, because once you cast the laser fence on it, sometimes structures cannot be repaired by engineers for some inexplicable reason, even though the fence is not clearly visible on the structure. And more avatars going down. Just pitballs remaining for Unleashed, and this Marv did survive, funnily enough. But the reinforcements will be coming in for Unleashed. He's going to be training rocket squads, I can only imagine. Engineer, for some reason, probably going to try and capture these husks. There is 1 husk remaining. He needs to capture that immediately for his own cause. Free avatars for Unleashed. Not Unleashed, HiDrauLick. And a single stealth tank, which he has to micro. He has to micro because that's his only form of anti-aircraft, and he doesn't know that Unleashed has not got an airfield there. But you can only assume, because there's no hammerheads to speak of. And one of the avatar husks did get reclaimed, so Unleashed now has an avatar under his control. Some nice DPS there, no EMP grenade to speak of. That would come in immense use here if he had the upgrade. But the Redeemer somehow being revealed, no longer it's being revealed now. This Marv making its way into this army. It's a very slow moving army, so he doesn't have to worry about it's rolling over the map like at 200 miles an hour. He's going to have to engage this army directly with his Marv. But will HiDrauLick save this Redeemer? I'm not sure. Rage generator goes off. That avatar may get shot down by the Marv, but no, not quite. Luckily that did not help. Did not kill the avatar. Looks like the avatar is stealthed by the look of things. So once units are destroyed, their husks remain stealthed, and if you retake them, then the stealth obviously still applies to that unit. I did not know that. Learn something every day. But we have 3 avatars here and a Redeemer for Unleashed. Not Unleashed, HiDrauLick. Keep getting mixed up with the names. And more Tiberium is at Unleashed disposal. He's got 4 harvesters there. And this army is trying to make a retreat. I'm not sure why he's afraid of this Marv. I mean, there are a couple avatars here. He does have some tip troopers to defend off against these rockets. Rockets obviously being completely and utterly useless against rocket squads. And the Redeemer is going to go down. So the Redeemer is down for HiDrauLick, and that is a very sore sight indeed. How on earth is he going to rebuild that? He does not have any tip at his disposal. He is completely dry. This field has been allowed to regrow. HiDrauLick not expanding quick enough there. Where is his MCV? His MCV has remained put there throughout the entire game. But the Marv has decided to take this opportunity and harvest this field here, which is a good idea by Unleashed. Definitely a good idea by Unleashed, because he's going to get a lot of credits now, bringing that 150 credits for each tib crystal that's mowed up by the Marv. And of course the Awakened are very good in this patch. They do not bug. You can always rely on the EMP in this version. And the Harvester crushing those rocket squads. Very useful at times, the non-harvesters for crushing infantry. Many games have been won that way. So what does HiDrauLick have for an army to push Unleashed with? He does not have any anti-infantry. He does have a couple of Awakened squads, but against the Marv, I'm not sure if it's going to work out. He does have Awakened, and they will probably destroy these rocket squads because they have was about to say they have the charged particle beams, but that wouldn't be true for the Awakened unless you capture Black Hand Tech. If you capture Black Hand Tech with the MOK faction, then their Awakened squads get the charged particle beam upgrade, which is really cool. But their range obviously being quite lackluster to begin with, so I'm not sure how much that will make their Awakened better. The MCV, he has to watch this MCV. HiDrauLick immediately unpacking that MCV. And he's probably going to be building some shredder turrets, I can only assume. No charged particle beams for HiDrauLick, so HiDrauLick being a MOK player, not getting that upgrade, which is only exclusively available for the MOK faction. Kind of unusual. And this army by Unleashed is looking extremely deadly. I think I'm going to call this game now. Unleashed may actually win this game. Or maybe not, because HiDrauLick still has a Redeemer and 2 avatars. But what's he going to do against the mobility of this army? It looks like that Zone Raider squad has ventured its way into that APC. But anyways, what's he going to do against this army which has superior mobility? He can just go around this map and destroy most of Unleashed forces. It definitely has the higher DPS. That Redeemer does not have a flamethrower on it, so what is he going to do against the infantry? He has no anti-infantry whatsoever, because he did decide to put 2 engineers inside of it. Unleashed, he didn't move his MCV. His MCV is here. Nothing to really worth mentioning inside of his base at all. And this looks like the final push by Unleashed. Is he going to be able to stop this Redeemer as well as these avatars? The MCV has remained alive. He could probably drop a refinery there, but then again there are forces up here which will destroy the Harvester on sight. And it basically, the outcome of this battle will come down to a successful Rage Generator, but unfortunately HiDrauLick used it at the wrong time, because the APCs had already started shooting at the Redeemer. And those avatars are really his only hopes of destroying this army here. He needs more anti-infantry squads, or anti-infantry defenses. There we go, a shredder turret up now for HiDrauLick. He could probably sell this Redeemer Engineer facility for an additional TIB Trooper squad. That will come in handy, but there are just so many APCs here that it wouldn't really warrant a TIB Trooper at all, because it will just got mopped up completely. 2 avatars and a Redeemer remaining. Will he be able to stop this army, this very impressive army by Unleashed? His Marv is here, soaking up the damage as well. And it's a very bad decision of HiDrauLick to shoot down the Marv. He should definitely destroy these units first, as that will reduce the firepower drastically. That's a good idea actually. If you're up against an army, try and target the epic unit last, because that's what your opponent wants you to do. He wants you to shoot the epic unit, because its main purpose is to serve as a meat shield on the battlefield and soak up damage for your lesser armored forces. So yeah, it looks like HiDrauLick was defeated there. Again, he could have done a better job with the charged particle beam shredder turrets if he had pushed with an additional MCV. I think ZCM would not have stood a chance whatsoever there, but still, nonetheless, a great comeback by Unleashed. I suppose HiDrauLick was not expecting him to have that additional base up in the top. So yeah, very nice work, HiDrauLick. So let's go over the tabs now. We have for the units tab, up and down, up and down. Unleashed obviously trained much more units because he resorted to infantry throughout the game, not going for mass hammerhead, no tech units like Zone Raider hammerheads in that game. Unfortunately, that would have been just nice to see. But HiDrauLick, he made avatars, questionable use. He did not support them as well as he probably could have done. As I mentioned before, he could have had a MCV at the front line, and that would have made it much easier in cracking that base of Unleashed. The resources obviously in HiDrauLick's favour, because he put on so much pressure to Unleashed. Using those TIB Trooper squads to mow down the infantry forces was also a good idea, but remember the ZCM have additional resistance to Tiberium equipped weaponry, so it kind of made them a little bit less useful in that regard. And as for the final stats, we have 232 units killed for HiDrauLick with a kill death ratio of 1.58, and for Unleashed we have 0.60 with a units killed 146. Of course, the favorite unit for Unleashed is the Missile Squad, and the favorite unit for HiDrauLick is the Tib Trooper. So yeah, that was a pretty decent game. I enjoyed watching that one there. And if you thought this video was remotely entertaining, then don't forget to like it, and I'll see if I can bring some more videos for you guys in the future. Okay, peace out.